I'm Elizabeth Daniels, the Adult Education Specialist with KET, and today I'll be introducing you to our Fast Forward online learning platform. KET is Kentucky Educational Television, the public media network for the Bluegrass State, and for more than 50 years, KET has been instrumental in preparing adult learners for the GED exam. And if anyone has been around for a while, back to the pre-internet days, you might remember GED Connections that ran nationwide on TV. And that was basically the grandfather of our current program. So today we'll be taking a look at what Fast Forward is all about, what it offers to students and programs, some highlights and tools for students as they move through the courses, as well as some important features for teachers to use to support their instruction and use Fast Forward in the classroom. So Fast Forward is an online high school equivalency study system for all test subject areas: language arts, math, science, and social studies. The program is standards aligned, as well as an official provider for both GED and HiSET exams. It works both as an independent distance learning program, as well as for teacher-facilitated adult education programs with both student and teacher support tools. So what do students get with Fast Forward? Firstly, they get a customized study plan for each student to meet them where they are, according to results from their diagnostic pretest. Content for a variety of learning styles that allows students to go step by step with plenty of practice opportunities. The questions in the course reflect actual test question formats, such as drop-down menu, fill in the blank, and multiple choice. And we have assistive tools available for all learners, including text-to-speech, translation, glossary, and customizable background colors. Next, what teacher tools do we provide? So we have flexible class management with reusable seats, and we are mobile friendly for both administration of the courses as well as for students. Tracking of student progress through their study plans and monitoring through their grade books. And students can also monitor their own usage and grades as well, so that they're able to self-reflect and maintain their own accountability. We have easy reporting, including time on task and other reports in our report generator. We have a teacher toolkit, and that has lots of helpful content for the classroom, including supplemental lessons, lessons extensions, and testing materials that are all included right there for you. So now let's jump in and take a look. Let's start exploring. So this is our login page, ae.ket.org. So once you get started with us, you, as well as all teachers and all students, will have a username, which is typically the email address, and a password. So you can log in here. This is our dashboard. This is the home base for Fast Forward. You'll see the 4 courses here. So math and language arts are each broken down further into different modules. So 2 modules for math, reasoning with numbers, statistics, and geometry, and also algebraic reasoning. And language arts is broken down into 3 sections: language, reading, and writing. Social studies and science are just the 1 single module each. Each course for students begins with a 20 to 25 question pretest designed to identify the learner's individual strengths and weaknesses. So your students will start here with the pretest. And that pretest will generate a study plan based on the results of how the students did. And so for students, they'll see their study plan that looks like this. They get check marks with the black text, and that indicates that they completed this activity or they passed through it on the pretest. They also have green text. These are areas that were assigned by the test that they're going to need to work on. Then there's also an assigned by teacher blue option, so that if the teacher feels like it's needed, you actually want them to go through a section that to review what they've already done, or that you think that they need some extra help on that, then you have the flexibility to go ahead and assign them to that. And then students have access to all of these lessons at any point. So if they themselves would like to review any particular material, they can certainly jump back into their study plan, and even when they're checked off, they're not closed to them. They still have access to them, for those all of the lessons as needed for review. So let's jump into our course structure. So each course consists of a series of topics that are broken down further into lessons. We also have this collapsible course overview on the left side, and it can be toggled off or on with the gray arrow button here. And so when students are in the content, they're reading, they're studying, they can hide that as needed or open it back up and show it when they're ready to proceed. Just a little hint for later, take a look at the study tools down at the bottom. We're going to look in more detail at that a little bit later. Just wanted to draw your attention to it. So once they're in a course and they choose their lesson that they're going to start with that day, each lesson is broken up further into different skills progressively, going through each skill in that lesson. And we have also another pop-out menu here on the right-hand side so that students can, again, toggle this open and closed as needed to follow their progress, hide it if they want to concentrate on reading their lesson. Again, another preview here. This little circle widget down here is for our Read Speaker module, and we're going to talk about that later as well. So each skill that's addressed inside the lesson has at least 2 and often several ungraded practice opportunities to check for comprehension. Students get immediate feedback on these. We call them our skill checks. We recommend that although they're not for a grade in the course, that students do complete those because they will give them that immediate feedback to make sure that they are understanding as they're reading and moving through the content. So once they have finished a lesson, they've read all the content, they understand all the diagrams, they've watched the videos, and they've done their skill checks. Each lesson has a lesson review with 10 questions. So the student finished Human Body and Health in this example. It's marked as done, and then it pops open a lesson review for that Human Body and Health content. Again, you'll see that this particular student has completed 1.1 content and they've completed their lesson review. And for 1.2 and 1.3 as well. And now they're ready for their topic review. And so each topic has its own graded review as well with 12 questions. And so the topic review for life science is going to include a mix of questions from each of these 3 lessons. Once the students have completed all of the lessons as well as the topic reviews for each topic within the course, they will have access to a post-test. And this is the sort of culminating activity to assess their knowledge of how they have done with their studying and comprehension throughout all of the different topics of that course. And so in this case, here's an example from the reading post-test. Gives them an opportunity to attempt their quiz. It makes it clear that the grade to pass, that we would consider passing, would be 80 out of 100. And again, notes that the highest grade will be recorded in the grade book, so they can attempt it again if they need to. So once they've completed through the course, in this case, let's imagine that they've completed language, reading, and writing. They're confident in their skills. They are ready to take the practice test. This is a little bit different if you're familiar with official GED Ready tests. These are similar but not exactly the same. The GED Ready tests are predictors of success on the official tests. These are a little bit different. This just gives them a chance to practice the question types and the content that will be asked on the tests. And then when they finish, they do get suggestions on fast forward content to go back and study if there are parts that they haven't been successful in. And so that's the distinction there between fast forward practice tests that the students will see in their courses and then the GED Ready practice tests. So now that we've got the class structure, let's go through some of the student tools. We want to make sure that Fast Forward is as easy as possible to use with lots of tools for students to enhance their success. So in this case, we've got an embedded glossary. And so definitions and terms are embedded and clickable throughout the content. This is also printable as well. The printable glossary with the full list of definitions in each course is available on the course homepage. And it's a nice feature, again, so that students don't have to jump out of the platform. They don't have to worry about grabbing a dictionary or jumping on Google to figure out terms that might be new for them. When they see an unfamiliar word, they click on it, it pops up a quick glossary definition. They can continue on with their understanding of the content. Next, we've got some additional printable resources here. I mentioned the glossary earlier. This is where you'll find it under the course overview. The science glossary is shown here, and then there's a separate glossary list for each of the other courses as well. And again, it's alphabetical order for the glossary, mimicking what you would find in a traditional textbook. We also have printable test tips here, and these are great to keep in your classroom or to hand out to students as they're working on preparing for each subject area test. And these are available in the teacher toolkit as well, which we'll look at in more detail in a moment. So going back to what I showed you before, this is the Study Tools widget here. It includes 4 different options here. We have a writing self-assessment. It's a checklist so that as students specifically are preparing for the RLA section of the GED test, and they're working on that writing, it gives them a process to go through to assess their own work as they are practicing those skills. Course calculator here, again, similar to the glossary, no need for the students to jump out, try and find a physical calculator or an online one. It's right here as needed when they're working on math. The formula sheet as well is here. The official formula sheet from GED is provided. Again, can be printed as well, but it's right there so that they can easily refer to that as they're working on their math. And the highlighter tool as well, if they want to, just as if they were reading in an actual textbook, the students can highlight specific text that they want to perhaps go back to or refer to later. So this is found once again on the course overview menu, that left side collapsible open and closed menu. If it is collapsed and closed, the students won't see the widget, but they can always toggle it open to get these study tools. And again, without leaving the platform. So we've also got some additional accessibility tools for students to customize their own learning experience. We have text-to-speech through our ReadSpeaker tool. If you recall, we had our lesson menu here, and at the bottom a little circle. That circle opens up into a multifunction text-to-speech feature so that students can have, they can highlight the text that they would like to read. It will read it out loud to them. They can stop, repeat, change the speed, etc. So that is helpful for many students, especially we try to keep the content as brief as possible, but for some students having that auditory input as well as the visual input is helpful. We also have a background color change tool. This is found in the user profile. So as many systems, you'll see your initials in that top right-hand corner. If you are a user, any user can use this, in fact. So if you prefer something that is not the harshness of the black text on the white, which is the default, you can change it to another color. You can have a high contrast option with the black screen and the white text, whatever is needed for comfort and ease of reading, preferences, as well as visibility needs. We also have a multi-language and multi-function translation tool. And again, students would highlight the text that they want. They can right-click and choose that translate function. They can choose from one of many languages, and so here's an example with the Spanish translation. And this accessibility tool is critical for learners whose first language is not English to be able to access content in their native language, and so we're glad to be able to provide that tool. So now let's switch over to the teacher and admin side and look at our teacher tools. I'll show you some key features that we hope you'll find helpful as you use the system alongside your students. Let's go back to the dashboard, and we're going to go up to this class tools option here. Just so that you are aware, students do not see this option. This is the teacher view, an example of the teacher view here. And additionally, if you happen to be your center administrator, you'll have another option here in the menu, the top menu, which is license management as well. So class tools, let's take a look. So first we have our teacher toolkit. This is a plethora of different options for things that we have here. So we have sample emails. Unfortunately, it's not possible when you create a new student or a new user in your license. It's not possible at this time to have an automated email sent, but we do have sample emails provided under this curriculum support module here. So you can copy and paste that into an individual email for each student as you create their accounts. We also have instructions documents here under curriculum support as well. Great options for new students as well as new teachers to the platform. We have scope and sequence documents for each of the courses. If you ever want a quick view of the skills covered in each of the course subject areas. We are standards aligned, and we have those crosswalks here for each set of standards, including the tape test. We also have an absolute treasure trove. If you look under math, science, any of the course modules and subject areas of media enhanced classroom resources, supplemental activities, videos, and lesson plans for each subject area. So if you are looking for ready-made, high-quality supplemental materials for your class, look no further than the subject areas within the Teacher Toolkit. So the gradebook, of course, you'll want to view and monitor your students' progress through their graded assignments in Fast Forward. You have options to choose grade reports by class, by student, or by subject, as well as options inside the gradebook to switch students, switch to different courses, so that you're not having to exit back out to the main screen of the gradebook. You can toggle between your students and change your parameters as needed here. For more detailed reports, you have access to multiple ways of tracking your student progress and time on task. As in the gradebook, you have options to choose your report by type of report, by class, and by date range, as well as options once you're inside the reports, options to change students, change to different subjects. You have download and print functions as well for your reports. And if you check here, you can see that you have a list of your students and their sessions. You can click into their sessions and see all of their detail to drill down into their day-to-day activity in the program. Here's the teacher view of your students' study plans. These are, if you'll recall, generated when the student completes their pretest in a given course. And this is what the teacher sees on their view. You have your classes here as different groups that you can choose from. Whatever class you're assigned to as a teacher, you'll be able to see the students called participants here in your class. And then you'll see all of the lessons in the course, the same color-coded designations as before, but you have an additional option for these blue buttons here, where you can assign different lessons or remove lessons for students as needed. You may want to do that in some cases, and you have the ability to do so in your teacher view of the study plans for each student. So here's your class roster. This is the last option in the class tools, and this is where you'll actually create your students and additional teacher users. You'll add them as having access to their courses, and you can remove students as they leave the program as well. You'll need to uncheck their access and save before removing them from the class roster so that you'll free up that seat. And you can monitor your seat status here at the top of this report as well. In addition, center administrators can switch students into and out of different classes within the center structure. So let's say you have a morning class and an evening class. Maybe you have a student whose work schedule has changed. They don't want to stop coming to classes. They just want to switch to your other class. So you can take them out of the roster for one class, put them into the roster for your other class, and again, making sure you uncheck their access and save before removing them from the class so that you'll free up that seat and then re-add them to their new class and give them access to their courses on the new class roster. You can also later find students who have been previously deactivated. I mentioned you can remove their access, but you can always find them again. We know it's very common for students to have a need to stop out in their class and then come back at some time in the future. So you can always find them if they've been part of your center before. They'll start right back from where they were. Nothing they were working on will be erased or deleted. Their access can be restored easily, and they'll be able to continue right from where they were. Finally, we have user help here in platform. So we have different FAQs for different types of users that hopefully answer many basic questions, but you can always ask questions or report errors here or other issues. We are a small team here at KET Adult Education. We do pride ourselves on timely and personalized assistance. So additionally, you can always you can certainly submit a report here. I'll also share our contact information so you can reach out to us directly if you were to ever need any assistance. So let's review. We took a look at the basics of Fast Forward, how to log in and get started. We looked at the curriculum and course structure, including lessons, topics, lesson reviews, topic reviews, different types of assessments that we offer throughout. We talked about our student support and accessibility tools, and we talked about features for teachers and administrators to help you use the platform to its most effective for your students. Let me wrap up and provide you with our contact information here for our department. Emailing adulted@ket.org is a great way to reach us, as well as our toll-free number, 800-354-9067. Again, our intention is to provide excellent customer service. So if you need any assistance, need more information, or you want additional training, we do offer personalized virtual trainings where we do deep dives into specific needs for each program or Adult Ed Center. So please don't hesitate to contact us and reach out. Thank you for joining me. We appreciate your interest in KET's Fast Forward.